Hey guys, how are you doing today? So, today I am bringing you my top 5 cozy mysteries for beginners. I posted on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook what you guys wanted to see next on my channel, and this one came through with a resounding yes please. And I'm going to start with my 5 favorite cozy mystery series. These cozies are series that I love. They're different from each other, so there's a little bit of something for everyone. So without further ado, let's get started. The very first book that I'm going to talk about, a lot of you could probably guess. What do you think it is? Yep, that's it. Meet Your Baker by Ellie Alexander. Now remember, this is the Cozy Mystery Book Club Book of the Month for January. I will leave all of the links for the Cozy Mystery Twitter and the live streams that we are going to be putting on January 17th and January 31st for this amazing series. The Bookshop Mystery Series is the perfect series to pick up if you have never read a cozy before. It has the perfect characters that have a little bit of fault, but they are relatable. They are warm, they are loving, and most of all, they feel like family and friends to you. The main character is Juliet Capshaw, and she's moving home from being a head pastry chef on a leading cruise line, and she's coming home with a broken heart. She's starting to help her mother at Tort, the family bakery, and she's coming to realize who she is as a person. She lives in Ashland, Oregon, the cutest small town I have ever seen in my whole entire life. I can't wait to go and visit. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. But anyway, that's besides the point. Ashland, Oregon is having a huge Shakespeare festival. They have it every single year, and that's when the tourists come flooding in, especially into Tort for their sweets. Unfortunately, it seems like there is not only a salty kind of board member, but she is also salty towards Tort, and she finds herself killed. It is up to Jules to figure out who did it. She also runs into her high school sweetheart, Thomas, who is the lead investigator on the crime. So that is Meet Your Baker by Ellie Alexander. I call this the theme sort of like bake shop and baking. The second book I have in my top 5 is a magical themed, sort of librarian themed series. It's called Curiosity Thrilled the Cat. It's a magical cats mystery series, and if you saw on my Twitter or my Instagram, you saw a sneak peek picture that told you that this would be a book inside my blog. I am of course going to be putting all of these top 5 with more details in my WordPress blog down below, so please go and check that out if you want a little bit more detail into the different series, what I think about them, and links to all of the books and everything like that. So I actually have a kitty cat named Tom, and he looks just like Hercules in this series. This series is based in Mayville Heights, Minnesota. So this series is about Kathleen Paulson. She's moving from Boston to Mayville Heights to help sort of put their library back on its feet, to do the remodels and sort of just give it a breath of life, because it seems that the last librarian let things lapse. She's new to the small town lifestyle. She actually finds both Hercules and Owen as feral cats in a abandoned building, and she's super excited to start new. She is sort of leaving Boston for a fresh start and to mend her broken heart. So during the Wild Rose Summer Music Festival, a body is found, and somehow Kathleen has found herself as the prime suspect. And Kathleen has somehow found herself as a prime suspect. She also notices something a little strange about her cats. They seem to have abilities, and not like, you know, agility or fast running, but more along the lines of becoming invisible and walking through walls. I mean, your cat does the same thing too, right? Or sometimes it feels like they walk through walls. Like when Tom escaped for 3 days, that was weird. But she realizes that in order to clear her name, she is going to have to rely on her kitty cat's newfound abilities. And this is a really, really, really cute series. I actually have all 7 books in this series, and I absolutely love this series. And the third book that I have in my top 5 is a sewing sort of magical themed series. This book is called Pleading for Mercy. It's a magical dressmaking mystery, and it's by Melissa Bourbon. I really do love this series. It's all about Harlow Cassidy. If you've ever heard of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, she is sort of a relative of Butch Cassidy, and the Cassidy women possess abilities, if you will. Some have a green thumb, others can talk to goats, whereas Harlow's ability is more in the realm of dressmaking, and it's not just being a seamstress. She is a fashion designer in Manhattan, and her great-grandmother dies, and she has been left an old farmhouse and has been asked to move back home to Bliss, Texas. And she realizes that her abilities are more than just making beautiful dresses, but that with her new set skills, she's able to put into these dresses magic for the wearer, magic to make their wildest dreams come true. And whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is up to you, the reader. But she finds herself transforming her great-grandmother's farm cottage into a upscale, fancy dressmaking boutique. And her very first customer is a good friend of hers from when she was a child, Josie. She is getting married. Josie's getting married, and she needs not only her wedding dress, but bridesmaid dresses as well. They come in for a fitting, and Harlow gets to meet every single person and trying to find the style that fits them the best. However, later that night, a body is found. It actually happens to be Josie's boss and maid of honor. And it seems that Josie might not be walking down the aisle in a veil, but she might be walking into prison with handcuffs. And it's up to Harlow to use her skill and maybe the presence of someone inside the house to figure out who actually killed Josie's boss. And this is just a really, really, really cute series. I live in Oklahoma, and so it's fun to sort of read a series that's closer to home. I can picture things a lot easier in my mind on where things are and how they look, and of course some of their little tones and things like that I can pick up a little bit easier because I'm more in that part of town. This is a really, really good series. If you like books where the protagonists are really, really strong and that there's a lot of female power and like, yeah, this is the series to go for. I know I have, gosh, right here, I've got the first 6 in the series, and I've read them all, and they're just so much fun to read. And the 4th book I have is under the theme that I put as book club / teacher. It's a killer read. This is an Ashton Corners book club mystery series by Erica Chase. I feel like this series was written for me. The main character is Lizzie Turner. She is a reading specialist and mystery book lover. If that doesn't make sense, I am a digital learning specialist and I love cozy mysteries. So basically we're twins. Yeah. That's what I'm saying, and that's what I'm sticking to. So she is part of I've got to read it from the book because it's a very long name. She is part of the Ashton Corners Mystery Readers and Cheese Straw Society Book Club. That is a mouthful. But I love this series. It's very southern in its way. So the book club is having its very first meeting in Molly Matthews' southern mansion. And everybody's getting around in a circle and they're about to start to pick the very first book for the month. And a stranger knocks on the door. Of course, Molly Matthews and her southern hospitality lets him in to use her phone. He comes in, he makes crude comments, and just doesn't seem like a rather good fellow, and he leaves. Later that night, that man's body is found murdered. It seems like murder because Molly Matthews's late husband's antique gun is found near the body. And it seems like Molly might be a prime suspect. Not only on top of that, but Lizzie finds that her crush from high school is the police chief and is the lead investigator of this crime scene. So she is sort of torn both ways. She wants to stay out of it because she doesn't want to step on her ex-crush's toes, but she also wants to figure out what happened because Molly is like a mother to her. Then something else happens. She starts getting chapters of a manuscript that seems to be nonfiction, and Molly Matthews' name pops up, and maybe it seems she's going to be the next one to be killed. But if she's going to be killed, how can she be the murderer? That's what Lizzie's trying to find out. And this is a really, really fun read. I love reading about different book clubs, and I love reading about teachers and things like that, because there are some things in here that she talks about that as a teacher I can really relate to when she talks about tutoring and education and different things like that. It just sort of makes my heart go all happy and I get super excited. So that is A Killer Read by Erica Chase. And last but not least, this is book 5 of my top 5 cozy mysteries for beginners, and I put this under the theme Bookshop. This is Double Booked for Death. This is a Black Cat Bookshop mystery by Ellie Brandon. And this is a really, really fun read. This is all about Darla Pettystone. She leaves Texas to move to Brooklyn. She's left her great aunt Dee's Pettystone bookshop, and she's so excited to have something new. She wants a new start of life, and she's ready to show that she can keep this bookstore running. So not only has she left the Pettystone bookstore, but she's also left a mascot, and it's not necessarily a mascot she would have chosen. She's left Hamlet, the very, very stubborn, smart ass, kind of crotchety cat that is my favorite character in this whole entire series. I've read the first 3 books in this series, and it's fantastic. So Darla's trying to keep the bookstore going, and she has this huge event that's going on. A bestseller young adult writer is coming to her shop to sign her new book. There are lines going out the doors, down the streets, even days before the signing occurs. Not all of the lines are good lines, though. There are protesters to this author's works, and she's thinking everything's going smoothly. Yes, the author is sort of like a goddess kind of type. She thinks that she's the queen of everything. She's very diva-esque, if you will. But Darla says, hey, that's what you got to do. She's bringing in money to the store. We can pull through this. However, the author is, she's written her last chapter, if you will, and she is found killed. Of course, the police think that it is just an accident until Hamlet stumbles upon a clue that points in another direction, that this author was indeed murdered. And it's up to Hamlet and Darla to read into Hamlet's clues that the death of the author was not an accident, and Darla starts to fear that the killer is out there and is looking to her as the next victim. So she's trying to figure out the whodunit. I love this series. This cat is just he's hilarious. He cracks me up, and he gets more and more sassy and sort of mischievous later in the series, and it's so much fun to read about Hamlet and Darla. So that's the end of this chapter of Courtagonist. I hope that you enjoyed my top 5 cozy mystery series for beginners. I am actually looking forward to doing a lot of top 5s in the cozy genre. I have quite a few up my sleeve, if you will. Thank you so much for all of those who watch my videos, who go and read my blog and comment and like and most definitely subscribing. You guys have no idea how much that means to me. Remember to pick up Meet Your Baker by Ellie Alexander and be ready for our live stream at the end of the month on January 31st at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time right here on my YouTube channel. And we are going to have Why We Love Cozies live streaming on Angela's channel on January 17th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And until next time, guys, happy reading. Bye!